I did it! I finally did it. I built something with modular building that doesn't look totally like garbage. And this something comes in the form of the entrance building and plaza for my new petting zoo building series. Let me show you how I built it. Last time I built something in this game, I made the awful mistake of not tracing out the outline of the park with the terrain paints, which led to everything being very asymmetrical. So here's me dodging that mistake by eyeballing the blueprint of the plaza with a snow brush, because we all know that in this game, eyeballing stuff is far more precise than just placing down path. I should mention we won't get far enough in this video to get to making actual petting zoo exhibits. We will still make some dinosaur enclosures, so don't you fret. You'll notice in the middle of the egg shape is a large amenity. This is just a reference for scale so I don't make the other mistake of making pathing too large, because when you do that, there's going to be a lot of empty space which is hard to fill up. I'm now using more terrain paints, which means there'll be a legend. The legend should be on the screen right now, but if you can't read or something, basically, snow brush is for things I'm building now, and the beach brush is a guideline for stuff I'm going to build in the future, or might build in the future. Who knows? After doing some more brushwork, I kinda realized I made a face, and because of that I got a little distracted. But that's not important, so let's just push it to the side here. Anyway, I'm walking through the blueprint just to see if the scaling is all right and to see if everything's a nice walkable distance from each other. All we gotta do now is follow the outline with the main thoroughfare, but we leave some space here near this gumdrop sort of shape for some luxury paths so we have some extra color. Right now, it is pretty barren, so we're obviously gonna have to fill in some of the space on the outside of the path with a couple viewing galleries and a toilet. You'll normally hear me say something like, I placed this toilet down because a massive T-Rex will definitely scare you so much to the point where you poop your pants, but that's not the case with this park because there are no Tyrannosauruses, so this toilet is really just an ordinary toilet. Now we can work on the entrance building, which took about 2 hours to build, which is quite a long time, but if you've been with us now for a while, you'll know I take an unnecessarily long amount of time for stuff like modular building. After placing down the glass walls for the entrance, we continue to place down even more glass walls just around the entire entry building. Then we go ahead and place down 2 layers of panel walls, but it was at this point I kinda realized the whole thing was kinda thin, so I extended the glass bit a bit more so the whole thing is more proportionately nice. The last thing we do to figure out what the whole building looks like is building a roof. We use concrete floor for the ceiling, then we make our own custom trims with some recolored concrete and wooden posts, and then we cover the entire top with it. While I fix these trims into place, I kindly ask you guys that if you like where this building series is going, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Also consider liking because it really does support YouTube channels far more than you'd think. Anyway, what we'll do now is flip the whole building around, because if we don't do that, there'll be a big dark shadow which will make it much harder to build than if we just flip it around and get some light on the side which we're actually building on. Earlier, we placed some trims on the roof. Now we'll place trims on the ground. If you haven't understood already, I quite like trims. They make your buildings look so much better. Right now, the doors are pretty much just gaps in the middle of the wall, so let's just go ahead and fix that by adding these concrete blocks to add the effect of, instead of it just being some random hole, it might actually just be like a dark hallway, you know? Using text is a very easy way to make your parks feel more like actual parks. So the first piece of text we'll use in this park is the word entry. After making the sign, we'll paste it over the 2 other doorways. You can never go wrong with a set of windows, so let's just place those down and surround them with more of these concrete blocks with a row of wooden trims on top to avoid any flatness going on with the walls. There is a very unpleasant transition between the 2 wall pieces over here, so we'll make it a bit more natural by covering it up with even more trims. Corners are also something you'll want to cover up most of the time, so we'll just do that with these panel columns. Now we get to the park sign. The sign is going to contain a massive sun because the sun comes out in the summer and summer usually resembles fun, and this park is nice and fun, so it's perfectly fitting. However, I'm not having too much fun here because the sun isn't too big in comparison to the walls, so we're gonna have to use a glitch to make it absolutely gigantic, and now I'm having fun now. Now we gotta speak the letters going onto the sign into existence. Pettingzo. Petting zoo, I know, very creative naming choice. And now, after copying everything to the other side and replacing petting zoo with car park, the entry building is complete. Now we just gotta flip it back around and take the thumbnail photo. We now dig down into the earth to make room for our very first habitat in this new park. But before we continue it, we'll place down this car park by Caleb. We flood the holes we dug in the ground with water and fill them up with vegetation, and just vegetation. Yes, I forgot about placing the rocks. Please don't kill me. Anyways, let's place down the invisible fencing and get our dry sources ready. There'll be 6 in each separate hole we dug. Can't quite tell if they're overstocked or not, but they look nice and cozy in here, so I think it'll be fine for now. I got a ranger station on standby anyway, in case I gotta sell one of these little guys. If you're paranoid someone might fall into the dinosaur pit, don't you worry, because I've got these metal fences to stop anyone from tumbling down. Remember the bathroom we placed on earlier? Yeah, well, I got a bit bored and decided to place down these lights to light up the path at nighttime in case you can't find the restroom. It's like those emergency lights on airplane which come on when there's an emergency, but we all know there won't be any of those here, unless an Amogosaurus stabs you or something. I don't know. These pots were a tad bit too tiny, so I used the scale glitch yet again to make them far bigger. We then surround it with wooden fencing and then fill it in with some plants. Funnily enough, there will barely be any plants inside the actual plant pot, since the main subject of those will be the statues of the big dinosaurs alongside their babies. We can't go wrong with a bit of labeling, so let's just label the dinosaurs inside the pots. Don't worry, I'll recolor everything later. Now, we place fences all around the 2 other gaps, which will actually be gardens. By the way, this was far more tedious than normal fence placing for some reason. Before we fill in the gardens, let's just construct these little structures here with the brick fencing. I quite like this structure, honestly, because it's a good way to fill up park space when you don't know how to fill stuff in. I've made structures like this since JWE2, so you can tell it saved me quite a bit. Inside of these guys, we'll just place down a bunch of planters and benches in various different orientations using stuff from the ready-made blueprints. This one here has a vending machine inside of it. This one can be used to be orientated one from the other. To be honest, now that I look at it again, I quite regret not placing a table in between these two. And then we add some tables and chairs on the outside of the garden. And then we finally fill in the garden. I left the one with the water inside of it a bit more empty because I felt it should stand as a water feature rather than a full-fledged garden. The bigger one though, I basically went full on with that one. And yeah, that's pretty much how I built it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day, and see you next time.